A $1.2 million home in Toronto. A standard 5% commission. That is $60,000, paid by the seller at closing. The listing agent and their brokerage will spend approximately 20 to 35 hours on this transaction. Professional photography, MLS listing, open houses, negotiating the offer, managing the paperwork to closing. $60,000. 25 hours of work. That is $2,400 per hour. For context, the most expensive lawyers in Canada charge approximately $1,000 to $1,500 per hour. The most expensive management consultants charge approximately $500 to $800 per hour. The most in-demand surgeons bill approximately $300 to $500 per hour. Real estate agents, at a standard 5% commission on a Toronto home, are implicitly billing at a rate that exceeds almost every other professional service in Canada. And most Canadians pay this without knowing they could negotiate it, split it differently, or in many cases avoid a significant portion of it entirely. This video explains exactly how the commission model works, where the $60,000 actually goes, the specific conflict of interest built into the buyer-agent structure that most Canadians have never heard of, why the model is under serious regulatory and competitive pressure in both Canada and the US right now, and what you can do the next time you buy or sell a home to keep more of that money for yourself. The $60,000 commission on a $1.2 million Toronto home does not go entirely to one person. Here is exactly how it flows. The split structure. The total commission is typically split approximately 50-50 between the listing brokerage, representing the seller, and the buyer's brokerage, representing the buyer. On a $60,000 total commission, listing brokerage receives approximately $30,000. Buyer's brokerage receives approximately $30,000. The brokerage split. Each brokerage then splits their share with the individual agent. New agents typically keep 50 to 60% after paying their brokerage. Experienced top agents may be on an 80 to 90% split or a flat desk fee arrangement. On a typical 70-30 agent brokerage split, listing agent keeps approximately $21,000 of the $30,000. Listing brokerage keeps approximately $9,000. Referral fees. If either agent was referred by another agent, a referral fee of typically 25% of that agent's commission is paid to the referring agent. On a $21,000 net commission with a referral, $5,250 goes to the referrer, $15,750 to the agent who did the work. The real net to the listing agent. On a $60,000 total commission, after the buyer's side split, brokerage split, referral fee, if applicable, and professional costs, errors and omissions insurance, board dues, marketing costs, the listing agent may net approximately $12,000 to $18,000 on a transaction they spent 25 hours on. This is not scandalous. It contextualizes the model. The $2,400 per hour headline is real. The individual agent's take is much lower. What the number reveals is not that agents are getting rich from each transaction. It is that the commission model was not designed for a $1.2 million home market. It was designed when Canadian homes cost $100,000 to $200,000. The percentage commission that made sense in 1985 produces an outcome that is increasingly difficult to justify on $700,000 to $1.5 million homes. The agent population and income distribution. There are approximately 160,000 licensed real estate agents in Canada. The average agent completes approximately 4 to 6 transactions per year. But the distribution is extreme. A small number of top agents do the vast majority of transactions, while the majority of licensed agents complete fewer than 3 transactions annually. Many licensed agents have other income sources and treat real estate as a secondary income. The commission model produces enormous income inequality within the profession. Even with a good, ethical agent, the commission structure creates specific incentive misalignments that every Canadian buyer and seller should understand. The price incentive problem for sellers. Suppose your home is listed at $900,000 and you receive an offer of $860,000. Your agent recommends accepting. Should you push for $910,000? Consider the agent's math. At a 5% commission on $860,000, the total commission is $43,000. At a 5% commission on $910,000, $45,500. The additional $50,000 in sale price generates only $2,250 additional total commission, of which the listing agent keeps approximately $787 after splits. The agent earns $787 more to spend potentially days negotiating for $50,000 more on your behalf. Their time and effort are worth far more than $787. The financially rational outcome for the agent, quickly, is to recommend accepting a reasonable offer and moving to the next transaction. The financially optimal outcome for you, the seller, may be to negotiate harder. This is not corruption. It is a structural incentive misalignment built into percentage commission compensation. The agent is not lying when they recommend accepting the offer, but their financial incentive is not perfectly aligned with maximizing your sale price. The quick sale incentive, related to the above. An agent who closes a deal quickly earns their commission and moves to the next client. An agent who negotiates harder and maximizes your sale price spends more time on the same transaction for marginally more compensation. The commission structure rewards speed more than maximization. A seller who wants maximum price should understand this dynamic and push their agent accordingly. The listing price incentive. When an agent recommends a listing price, their recommendation is influenced by how confident they are the home will sell at that price, which determines their commission certainty, how quickly it will sell, which determines when they get paid, and competitive pressure from other agents who might list at a lower price to generate faster offers. An agent who recommends a slightly lower listing price gets a faster sale and a quicker commission. An agent who prices aggressively may wait longer. The listing price recommendation should be questioned and verified against comparable sales independently. Here is the vault. The specific conflict of interest built into the buyer-agent model that means the person you think is working for you is financially incentivized against you in one very specific way. The fundamental conflict. When you hire a buyer's agent to help you purchase a home, that agent is typically paid by the seller, from the seller's proceeds, as a portion of the total commission. The buyer's agent is legally supposed to represent your interests, but they are financially compensated by the transaction occurring and by the amount the seller has agreed to pay in buyer-agent commission. The steering problem, historically, and in Canada, still largely today, the seller's listing agreement specifies how much buyer-agent commission is offered through the MLS listing. A listing might offer 2.5% buyer-agent commission. Another listing for a comparable home might offer 1.5%. An agent who shows buyers the 2.5% commission home earns $15,000 on a $600,000 home. The same agent who shows the 1.5% commission home earns $9,000. The financially rational choice for the agent, everything else being equal, is to show the higher commission home first, describe it more enthusiastically, and spend less time on the lower commission alternative. This is called steering. Steering is technically illegal and against CREA ethical guidelines. It has also been documented in academic research as a real behavior pattern in markets where buyer-agent commission is visible and variable. The buyer who does not know how much their agent is being paid for each showing has no way of knowing whether the showing order reflects their best interests or the agent's financial interests. The advice-quality conflict. A buyer's agent is paid nothing if you do not buy a home. Zero. They spend hours driving you to showings, preparing offer documents, and negotiating, with no compensation, unless the transaction closes. The financial pressure to close a deal, any deal, is significant for any agent who has been working with a buyer for weeks or months. This creates subtle pressure toward encouraging buyers to proceed with a purchase that the agent may internally question, because the alternative is working for free. BC's response, banning dual agency. British Columbia banned dual agency in 2018, the practice where one agent represents both buyer and seller in the same transaction. Dual agency is widely considered the most acute conflict of interest in real estate, as the agent cannot genuinely maximize the price for the seller while also minimizing it for the buyer simultaneously. BC's ban was a significant regulatory step, but the broader buyer-agent commission conflict remains unaddressed in most Canadian provinces. The traditional real estate commission model is under serious regulatory and competitive challenge, both in the U.S. and increasingly in Canada. Understanding what is happening gives Canadian consumers a preview of where the industry is heading. The USNAR Settlement. August 2024. The National Association of Realtors in the U.S. agreed to a landmark settlement in August 2024, resolving antitrust lawsuits that had been working through the courts for years. The key changes. First, the MLS rule requiring sellers to offer buyer-agent compensation was eliminated. Sellers are no longer required to offer or specify buyer-agent commission on the MLS listing. Buyers must now negotiate directly with their own agent about how and how much that agent is paid. Second, buyers must sign a buyer representation agreement disclosing the agent's compensation before touring homes. This eliminates the information asymmetry where buyers did not know how much their agent was being paid on each showing. The immediate effect, buyer-agent commissions in the U.S. began declining as buyers became aware of the compensation structure, and some chose to negotiate lower rates or represent themselves on straightforward purchases. Canada's Competition Bureau, the Competition Bureau of Canada, has been challenging CREA's MLS access rules for over a decade. In 2010 and again in 2020, the Bureau secured orders requiring CREA to open MLS access to more business models, allowing discount brokerages and limited service agents to post listings without requiring buyers to be represented by a cooperating agent. The result? Discount listing services, flat-fee MLS posting, and limited service brokerages have grown, though CREA and the traditional brokerage model still dominate. The Competition Bureau's position is that the traditional commission model restricts competition and costs Canadian consumers. Where Canada is heading, the U.S. settlement has created pressure on Canadian regulators and real estate associations to address similar conflicts. CREA has been resistant, but the direction of travel globally is toward greater commission transparency, buyer agency agreements, and unbundled services. The Canadian consumer who understands this trajectory is better positioned to negotiate today than one who assumes the traditional model is permanent and non-negotiable. For sellers, 5 specific actions. Action 1. Negotiate the listing commission. Commission is negotiable. In most markets, a listing commission of 3.5% to 4.0% total versus the traditional 5% is achievable, particularly in hot markets where homes sell quickly and the agent's time investment is lower. On a $700,000 home, the difference between 5% and 3.5% is $10,500. One conversation. Start negotiating. Action 2. Consider a discount listing service. Flat fee MLS services charge $500 to $2,000 to list your home on the MLS, which is the primary tool buyers agents use to find homes. You handle showings, negotiations, and paperwork yourself, or hire a real estate lawyer for a few $100s. Appropriate for sellers with experience, time, and a straightforward property in a strong market. Action 3. Offer a competitive but not excessive buyer-agent commission. The buyer-agent commission you offer influences which agent-represented buyers your home is shown to. Offering 2% to 2.5% buyer-agent commission versus the traditional 2.5% can save $3,500 to $5,000 on a $700,000 home, while still attracting buyer-agent representation. Action 4. Research comparable sales yourself. Before accepting your agent's listing price recommendation, research recent comparable sales in your neighborhood on realtor.ca. Price your home based on what comparable properties have actually sold for, not asking prices. The agent's recommendation should be a starting point for your own research, not the final word. Action 5. Get 3 agents to compete for your listing. Interview at least 3 agents before signing a listing agreement. Ask each for a detailed marketing plan, a comparable sales analysis, and their commission rate. Competition between agents for your listing drives commissions down and service quality up. Most Canadians sign with the first agent they meet. For buyers, 3 specific actions. Action 1. Ask your agent directly how much they are being paid on each home you tour. In Canada, you have a right to know this information. Ask if the commission varies between homes. You can factor it into your assessment of your agent's recommendations. Action 2. Consider negotiating a buyer-agent rebate. Some buyer agents offer to rebate a portion of their commission to the buyer at closing. On a $750,000 purchase with a 2.5% buyer-agent commission, $18,750. A 20% rebate returns $3,750 to you. This is legal in most Canadian provinces. Ask. Action 3. Represent yourself on straightforward purchases. If you have done your research, understand the market, and are buying a resale property without complex conditions, representing yourself saves the full buyer-agent commission. You will need a real estate lawyer to review the offer and handle the closing. Approximately $1,500 to $2,500. On a $700,000 purchase with a 2.5% buyer commission, you could potentially negotiate that $17,500 as a reduction in purchase price, or keep it yourself. A $1.2 million Toronto home. A standard 5% commission. $60,000. 25 hours of work. $2,400 per hour. The commission model was designed for a market where Canadian homes cost $100,000 to $200,000. It has not been redesigned as Canadian home prices multiplied 5 to 10 times. The same percentage now produces dollar amounts that are increasingly difficult to justify against the actual work performed. The conflicts are real, The incentive misalignment between agent and seller on maximizing price. The buyer-agent steering problem. The no-close pressure that subtly pushes buyers toward proceeding. None of these require a dishonest agent to operate. They are structural features of the commission model itself. The model is changing. The USNAR settlement eliminated the MLS rule requiring seller-paid buyer-agent compensation. Canada's Competition Bureau continues to challenge CREA's market structure. Discount services and flat-fee models are growing. And right now, today, in every Canadian province, commission is negotiable. Most Canadians do not know this. The seller who interviews 3 agents negotiates the commission from 5% to 3.5% and researches their own comparable sales before accepting a price recommendation will keep $10,000 to $18,000 more from their sale. From 3 conversations that most Canadians never have.